Okay. Can you see my screen?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon to everyone. I'm Lorenza Abbate, PhD student from Politecnico of Turin, and today I'm going to present you the research augmented reality experience for inaccessible area in a museum, conduct with my colleagues Claudio, Germak, and Andrea Di Salvo from UXT team Polito. We are all designers. And in particular interaction designer, and today we want to explain our journey of our research project, start with some reflection about the paradigm shift that the museum find himself living. So okay, indeed the introduction of digital technologies into cultural heritage is witnessing a significant paradigm shift in museology from a model with conservation purpose where works were simply physical displayed to one that allow for a mixed use offer both in present and at a remote location. For this reason, museum institutions are investing in cultural heritage mediated by digital technologies to establish a new dialogue between visitors with evolving needs and the spaces they visited. The aim is to create a storytelling experience that makes spaces engaging, immersive, and interactive. And to do this, the technologies allow different level of immersion in the new realities, digitally mediated and replaced depending on clearly on the perceptual involvement that is intended to be achieved by the users. In this evolving scenario, is it crucial to ensure that accessibility to cultural heritage, both tangible and intangible, can be provided to all visitors, regardless of their physical cognitive abilities. The concept of accessibility is a key element to take into account when approaching to the design of activities aimed at the use of museum spaces. In fact, institutions and research are moving in this direction, trying to respond to the different needs of users through design for all, we can say a design for all approach. Therefore, factors that may affect accessibility in museums should be considered in the project and in the design process. Among these factors, we find no compliance with the regulation of places, architectural barrier, restoration works, and the existence of collection of goods not yet ready for display, cognitive and cultural barriers. In this sense, digital technologies can be a key tool in promoting standards of inclusion if contextualized in a conscious way for the enjoyment of cultural heritage. Through the combination of innovative forms of edutainment and experimental learning, we arrived at a creation of experience for visitors which allow for a fruition of content, even a technical nature. So, among the growing technology applied in the museum, it's really important to understand the motivation under the case study that we want to use as a background research for the next step of our project. So, the growing technology applied to the museum sector are virtual reality and augmented reality, clearly. Whose features allow total visitor immersion and provide entertainment experiences which facilitate a new museology based on personalization and customized experience. Through experimentation with wear and IR, museum visitors are introduced to existing immersive and interactive experiences. This aspect emerged from the different experiences that have been created in the different museums. As you can see in this slide, we have the example of the British Museum that created around describing and exploring the Bronze Age to visitor. The virtual reality environment aimed to increase public interest and existing in the bronze objects, being shown and experienced. Then we have another example in Italy. The Abbate Museum in Rome introduced new practice of cultural heritage displayed based on the use of tools including IR and wear, designing the experience, the ARA as it was. The experience was installed on the monument ARA and was developed in collaboration with an international digital and creative company. And then we have another example that is really useful for our study. The Archivision is a wear experience designed to engage user in a circular and interactive way, where it's possible to virtually visit the temple dedicated to Hera in Paestum in the first half of the 5th century. So all these considerations were useful for our project. In fact, we started the collaboration for the Virgil project with the association Le Terre di Savoia. Is a cultural Italian association to project a new experience to visit inaccessible space of Racconeggi's castle in Piedmont in Italy. Just to give you the importance of the no accessible area in museum in Italy, you need to consider that only half of the Italian museum are equipped to guarantee the accessibility of the spaces and the usability of the collection to users with disabilities. So it's a really important consideration before the starting part of the acting part of the project. So the Virgil Tent project was born with the purpose of tackling the issues of accessibility of the temporary closed area of Racconeggi Castle in Piedmont. In particular, the thermal bath of the King Carlo Alberto, a really important part of the castle, which cannot be visited by the public, and the subsequent and the project with a subsequent scalability of the experience in the other Savoy residents in order to create a networking among them. So Virgil Tent comes as a follow-up to the Virgil project, a telepresence robot designer designed for the exploration of inaccessible areas, also inside the Racconeggi Castle, led by the UXD Polito research team. The robot was designed for some rooms of the castle that are excluded from the visit, mainly because of their state of preservation and logistical management. Virgil, driven by a museum guide, conducted a tour inside the space, sending live images mixed with multimedia compendium of screen. In this case, the experience is lived by the end users with the contribution of specialized operators. So the activities has therefore become more complex both on experimental level, bringing to light various technological limits. So for the economic and service management level. Limitation of the telepresence robot with the environments included the instability of the connection for piloting the robot, particularly environment bordered by thick walls. The need for specialized technical assistance to solve accidental problems, and the level of interaction of the visitor with the robot, assessed through an ethnographic test as low. This consideration were instrumental in the development of the igital experience, focusing on the exploration of other inaccessible places in the castle through VR and AR experience. The digital experience intend to replace only temporary those areas that cannot be visited by users, providing a different, augmented and interactive experience. Unlike robot, the new solution aim at the easy of scaling up and replicating the experience in a simple and fast way, adapting the contents to other places without the need to employ significant amount of research in terms of money and time. So the mixed techniques between VR and AR appear to be the most suitable for the storytelling of the spaces, existing from the architectural point of view, but now devoid of furniture and furnishing. The scenography of the experience is in fact constituted by the images of the rooms in the pre-restoration state, augmented by the introduction of characters, moving machine, and objects from the past. Digital is designed to be digital experience is designed to be enough to present the right amount of information and allow the audience to process the simulation and maintain a high state of attention from the moment they playback. Bang the experience lasts 10 minutes, and each room visited interpreted with 15 seconds for orbital exploration following the content played in each room. The different steps of the project include a photogrammetric reconstruction of the environment, cleaned of transfigurative and obscurating elements through 360 images. In the 3D rebuilding operation, the images were superimposed of the meshes of the simple volume of the thermal bath of Carlo Alberto, and the environment were reconstructed in 3D on modeling program Blender, and the result obtained was integrated with the element useful for the scenography. The experience, the narrative trend curve of the project experience continues slowly, leading the users considered as a hero to meet emblematic figure of the increasing importance. Once arrived at the last rooms, there are two peaks in the narrative. The first occurs with the appearance of the King Carlo Alberto, and the second with the entrance of his 20th century successor, King Vittorio Emanuele III, who reached the scene a few moments before the closing of the experience with the wish to meet the visitor again in presence. So here you can see the different aspect of the spaces in the first images, the bath before digital reconstruction, and then the bath post-digital reconstruction with the integration of lighting and characters inside the scene. And here you can see the characters that are inside the storytelling. The Benedetta, the housekeeper of the Savoia family, the King Carlo Alberto of Savoia, and Vittorio Emanuele III of Savoia. And with all these characters, we have other furnishing elements inside of the spaces as ghost of the storytelling experience, with some animation. For example, the ironing machine is an historical technology, the reconstructed furniture, and the round fontaine reconstruction. And all these elements are really important for those spaces because they are designed by the famous architect Pelagio Palagi. So, in conclusion, this project try to improve and enhancing the enjoyment of cultural heritage through the application of digital technology, especially at the time in an historical when we are reflecting on new form of visiting museum. The adoption of technology in museum must be designed as an integral part of the context in which it is used and not considered as an accessory to the visiting experience. In deep knowledge of the audience is fundamental element to meet the creation of cultural content that can be enjoyed on a large scale, where the cognitive factor combined with the emotional one. And it is still evident that entry of this technology into museum systems does not make into account the service management by museum guides who have to interface with complex cumbersome systems. And the Virgil project intends to contribute to the debate on the new museology for the creation of methodological models scalable to different realities for the use of involving museum spaces. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much.